feel from you. So show me, Lord, how to love like you.
Welcome to the Vessels Podcast. My name is Orlasha, and I am so glad that you're here. Happy New Year! It is 2026, not while I'm filming this, but it is 2026, and we are stepping into the new year exactly as we should, starting with episode 2, named The Pursuit of God. And what a better way than to start your year with the pursuit of God, pursuing after God. I am so glad that you're here. We are going to get right into it. I'm not trying to make these episodes very long, but we're going to do it the way that God says to do it. Before I came on here and started recording, episode 2 was going to be something totally different, but I prayed that God would take the reins and do what he wants to do with this podcast. And so episode 2 is actually based on a true story. I mean, all of this is going to be based off of a true story, but I didn't know that it was going to be something so very recent. But we're going to get into it. So episode 2, The Pursuit of God. This year, not this year, 2025, early in the year of 2025, I had this feeling or this notion that I should start writing, organizing my journals. And what I mean by that is that I would always write down my dreams and visions and sermons, and they would be like written anywhere. You could find it anywhere. Do you hear me? I have 400 notes on my phone. And it's filled with dreams and visions and sermons and all sorts of things. And it's just too much. It's unorganized for me. And so I had this notion that I should put them all in their respective places. And not only that, but also put them in order. So from the very first time that I started writing all the way until now. And so I've been writing things from when I want to say 12. I don't know. I may have been younger. When I started writing down like all sorts of things. And so I'm writing down all of that stuff all the way until I am 25. And I am not done yet, okay? But I just made it to 2023. Clap it up for me. And what's been so good about this journey of writing, mind you, I don't like writing at all, but what's been so good about this journey is that these things that I am rewriting from 2023, God has been speaking to me about in 2025. And so God will speak a thing and then I'll listen and I'll be like, okay, like I get the concept, but I don't really get the details. And then I'll go and start to rewrite an entry. And that entry that I'm rewriting will be about what God has just spoken to me about in 2025. And so me realizing that these things that he said in 2023 are still applying in 2025, something's kind of wrong because I obviously didn't listen 2 years ago, right? Number 2, I did nothing about it. I am in cycles. I am in a cycle. So obviously there's something wrong and God is trying to get my attention. And so sorry. God has obviously been trying to say something to me that I have not yet grasped. And me rewriting my journals and having the notion to rewrite the unction to rewrite my journals starting in early 2025. Maybe it was 2024. I don't remember. God is obviously trying to get me to understand and hear and listen and turn away from my sin. Not to get too rowdy. But anyways, there's this word that was spoken over me in 2023. I was in this group called Women of Purpose. And it was for like a short period of time, and it was only meant to be for a short period of time. And the leader of that group, her name was Zamaya, sweet young lady. I love her. And she actually spoke a word over me. And a part of it was that I needed to start recognizing how God was speaking to me. Now, back then, I did not know the way God spoke, okay? I thought when people said, yeah, God told me, and God told me this, and God told me I need to stop eating some, What I thought when people would say that, I always thought that they meant like they heard a booming voice, thunderous voice out the sky, cracking the sky. And he told them, you need to stop eating so much. And then the sky would close back and get back to normal. And then they would, do their thing. That's what I thought they was meaning. Like, y'all ever read the Bible and you start visualizing? And so y'all know the part where Jesus get baptized by John the Baptist, and then, he come up out the water, and then the sky cracks and the Holy Spirit come down like a dove, and then God be like, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased. That's what I thought they was talking about, like God be speaking to me. God do speak in an audible voice to some people, but I thought everybody was hearing him like that. And I was like, God don't speak to me. God speaks in multiple different ways. There's a verse in Job that I would love to look up, but if I was not doing a podcast right now where I had limited time, I would look it up. But there is a verse in Job that says that God speaks in one way and another. He speaks in dreams, because that is a place where humans do not have a lot of power. Like God is like, I can finally speak to you because you're not trying to self-sabotage. You're not trying to do, I can have my way. Get out the way so I can speak. So, yeah, God can speak to you in many different ways. But back then I didn't know about that. That was a door. Okay. And so Zamaya spoke a word over me. She was saying, you need to start recognizing the way that God speaks to you. And that was 2 years ago that she told me that. And I was like, okay, come to 2025. And I am finally taking my relationship with God a little bit more seriously. I am realizing the way that God speaks to me. Sometimes he will speak to me in dreams. Sometimes it's in visions. Sometimes it's through songs even. Now that's tea. I love when he speaks to me through songs, and it'll be songs that's like not gospel oriented, anyways, let's get back. And so what's been so fascinating on this journey of rewriting my journals is that what was spoken 2 years ago is being spoken again, and it's being spoken through different people. And so I ended up joining this church, right? I am at a church that I had dreams about. What? Dreams about this church, guys. Before I even went to the church, before I even stepped foot in the church, I had dreams about this church. And at this church in October, the pastor spoke and he said, our church is different. It's more of a conversation-based church. And so people can raise their hands and, we can have a dialogue, a conversation. And it's not just a one-way type of thing. It's a back and forth type of thing. And so back in October, God was speaking to me about building relationship and my foundation being love with him. So I go to church this random Sunday in October. And what does the pastor talk about? He sits down and he says, we're going to talk about relationship. And I was like, what? Huh? And so he starts saying there are 3 ways that God will talk to you to let you know that he is interested in building a relationship with you. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, that's yeah. And so he said those 3 ways are, 1 is through his prophets, 2 is through dreams and visions, and the 3rd way is through your spirit. And so, like I said, he speaks to me through dreams, visions, through his prophets, through songs. There are different ways that he can speak through you, right? And so, the best thing that I have learned is that when you learn the way that he speaks, it's easier to build relationship with him. Because imagine you are doing, okay, I've been in some messed up places, okay? I've been in places that said, yeah, you have to dress a certain way for him to speak to you. Or sometimes I haven't even been in these places, but I've heard about these places and I've just avoided them. Some places will say, yeah, you need to tithe in order for him to speak to you. You need to go to church every Sunday, every Wednesday in order for him to speak to you. You need to read your Bible and at least read one word in order for him to speak to you. And it's just like, all these procedures, I feel like it's not giving. That's not, does it have to be this procedural for God to speak to you? Do I really have to give you $300 for God to speak to me? Like, I just don't feel like that's right. You get me? And so I went to God one day. I literally went into my prayer closet and I was like, bruh. And then I had to apologize for calling him bruh because I keep doing that. And I'm like, I'm just so sorry, God. But I'm sorry. I'm not trying to call you bruh. I'm just over it right now. And then I'll be like, God, I really need your help because I'm tired of performing. I am tired of performing. I'm tired of going by the book. These procedures, these man-made procedures that you did not make. I'm tired. If you're going to speak to me, you're going to speak to me. But it ain't got to be that I got to give you $1,000. That don't even sound right. It don't mean I have to wear my hair a certain way. That don't even sound right. It don't mean that I got to dress a certain way for you to speak to me. That don't even sound right. God, please give me the truth. And so when you learn the way that he speaks to you, because he won't speak to everybody the same way, it is so much easier to build a relationship because you have to relate on something to have a relationship with someone. If you're trying to build a relationship with somebody, right? They care about fashion. You give no cares about fashion. Fashion isn't something that y'all are going to relate on. And so it's kind of the same way with God. He knows you to the very deep of your core. And so if he knows that the way to relate to you is through song, he's going to reach out to you through song. If he knows the way to relate to you is about hair, he's going to reach out to you through something about hair. Right? He's not going to reach out to you about Legos if you give no cares about Legos. He's all the way over here, you all the way over there. But if he want to build a relationship with you, why would he be all the way left field and you all the way right field? Exactly. It don't make sense. So he's going to relate to you in something in order to speak to you and reach out to you so that y'all can build a relationship. So when you learn the way that he speaks to you, it is so much easier to build relationship with him. And sometimes we as humans, I'm not going to say that it's everybody, but it's a whole bunch of us. We think that God should be pursuing us all of our lives because we're flawed beings and we're just human, quote unquote. But that's not how it is. That's not how it should be. True love is reciprocated. And so God already showed his love. He really don't have to do nothing else. I'm not lying. He really don't have to do anything else. He showed his love. He gave his only son. The Father gave his only son to die. He died on a cross, bro. His hands was nailed. He was sweating blood, bruh. He was lashed. He was whipped. He hung on the cross with unhealed wounds from the lashings and strips of clothes because they started to cast lots for his clothes. They started to give him a sour drink. You already got me in the worst predicament here. And now you're trying to touch my lips with some sour drink. Get away from me, dog. A crown of thorns, dog, piercing into his head. Do you understand? In the worst and most brutal way, this man died for you, and it didn't take seconds to transition for him. He was up there for hours. Dog. That was a lot. But what I'm saying is that true love is reciprocated. And if God has already shown you his love, what way do you build relationship? It's to show love back to him. But the thing is that God steps beyond. He overextends himself to reach us, because once again, he shows that he loves us first. And so then once we receive his love and see that he loves us, we have the ability to love him back in a way that is acceptable. And so our response to knowing that he loves us and receiving his love is to hear and listen and turn away from what we were doing and walking in to start pursuing him. But some people think that God should just keep on pursuing us and keep on reaching out to us and keep on overextending himself to love us and show us that he loves us. And I'm not even going to, put the blame on y'all. I'm going to put half of it on me, because I thought the same thing too. I was like, oh, God gonna keep on showing that he loves me, and that's just how it's gonna be. That's just how this life is. He will continue to show that he loves me because that's who he is, and I will keep on falling because that's who I am. But that is not how it has to be. Our mission is to continue to pursue God for the rest of our lives. And so my challenge for y'all, since it is the new year, it is January 1st. If you are watching this when this releases, from January 1st to December 31st, I want us to continue, we are pursuing God with everything in us. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Every year I keep on saying, okay, this is the year I'm really going to put my all in to get in this relationship with God and building it. And it just fails every single time. I keep on falling. I fall 15 million times. And if each year I'm falling 15 million times, what does that mean? I am in a cycle. I have not broken off these things. I have not done something different or received anything different. I am in the same predicament. Yeah, the circumstances around me may have changed, but my relationship with God is on a plateau. It ain't move. And so the challenge for this year, even if I'm not saying that you have to be fall free. What I am saying is if you fell 15 million times last year, at least try to go not over 14 million this time. You hear me? And so don't fall into the same cycles and the same patterns. Recognize your patterns. Once you come to God, you really got to become a mastermind. You have to understand what your patterns are so that you can stop doing the same thing over and over again that is so unfruitful. Okay? That's my challenge for y'all. That's my challenge for myself. I fell 15 million times last year. This year, I'm trying not to go over 14 million. And I'm going to challenge myself even more. I'm trying not to go over 10 million times. You hear me? So that's that. But then, once again, the church that I've been at, it's like God be speaking to me and then it be confirmed at church the next Sunday. And I'm just like, God, okay, I get it. And so my pastor also said, those who are pursuing the true and living God, there's an attack on their soul. And so if you don't know, your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. And so when you are pursuing God, it ain't easy. There is not a fast track, pass, go, collect $200 to this thing, okay? You will be getting attacked. It's like the Matrix. You're breaking out of the Matrix. They're not just going to let you do it and say, okay, au revoir. They're going to say, oh, baby, no, get back in this game. Do you hear me? You're going to work. You're going to keep on doing it until the end of your life. They don't want you to break out. And, okay, let me bring it in. The enemy does not want you to know God. He don't want you to know your identity in God. He don't want you to love God. What he wants is for you to never know. to have no relationship with God. He don't even care if you bow down to him. As long as you have no relationship with God, guess what? Guess where you're headed? Right. And so, my pastor said the fight starts inwardly first. And if you choose not to be vulnerable and open and honest with both yourself and God, there's no progress. You will not progress in your walk with God. You will be stuck. What did I say? My relationship came to a plateau with God. I kept falling 15 million times. Year after year after year, I kept falling 15 million times in the same exact things. And so what did my relationship with God do? Plateau. I was here. It don't matter how legalistic you get. It don't matter how religious you get. You're not going anywhere in your relationship with God. I don't care if you start dressing modestly and you start playing only gospel music and you cut out social media. And as long as you are not pursuing your relationship with God, as long as you are not walking in the Spirit, as long as you are not accepting your adoption as a son unto God, baby, your relationship is the same. It's on zero. Okay? You can change as much as you want to, but when will you transform? Those are two different things. A change is very wishy-washy. You can be a Christian one day. Hold on, let me not do that one, because when I say, I be meaning something different. Okay, anyways. You could be a vegetarian one day and then a vegan the next, and then the next day you go back to being a vegetarian. That's a change. You're not transforming. When you are transforming, you're going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. A butterfly don't turn back into a caterpillar, baby. Right. So when you are not honest, when you are not open with God, your relationship will not grow. And you will be very much susceptible to the attacks of the enemy, because the enemy will target what you are afraid to confront. And if you keep on lying to yourself and you keep on lying to God about the way you feel, about how you feel towards him, about what people be saying about you, about your circumstances, if you keep on lying to yourself, God gonna try to give you the truth and you gonna keep on rejecting him. And good luck with that. Good luck, because I've been there. And I will tell you, it is not fun. It is not easy to get out of that. It is not. It is very much not. I will not wish that upon anybody, ever. If I was the last person to go through that, I would happily take that and just let it be after that. Whew. Okay. And so really you have to be honest with God. If you want to grow with him, you have to tell him, especially, I'm about to get a little grown up, mature here. If you're, you really ain't got to be single to feel this. But if, you are, I don't know, child, one day you just be like, okay, God, I'm feeling a little butterflies in my tummy. I am feeling like I could really just go out and call up this young man and we could start doing things. And this is the way that I feel. Okay, with him, you could be very loose with your language. But right now, this is going on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, and I really don't know what I can say on here. And so you can be very loose in your language with God, because I am. I am. I am now. I was not back then. But you can be very loose with him. Tell him everything. And God will literally give you an answer if you want it. He will. He's not going to tell you to go call up that boy, but he will tell you what you can do. He will tell you, he'll be like, baby, just go and worship. Put on some praise songs and just praise me. Just Just thank me. Go into a moment of thank you and gratitude, and it'll subside. That feeling will go away in about 15 minutes. Put on a little praise and worship, and the feeling will go away. Do a little Bible study on true love, and that feeling will go away. You'll recognize that what you are seeking right now is true love, but what you are trying to go after is something false. So just put a little sprinkle of some Bible on this moment right now, and that feeling will go away. Be very honest with God. He will give you an answer. Sometimes I be coming to God, I be like, I'm not even about to lie to you. I don't feel like praying. And so I'm going to give you what I can give you. And sometimes my prayers be more than when I feel like praying. He will give you the strength. Do you hear me? Sometimes I be telling God, hey, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I have to start off with that. I'm not going to lie to you, God. I do not like this person. Like, we going to have to if I got to interact with them every day, something's got to change. You either got to soften my heart or just take them away, because I don't know what to do. Okay, sometimes you got to be real honest. Not sometimes, all the time. You have to be real honest, because he will show you what's in you. And sometimes you got to be ready for that, and you got to change. Not change, you got to transform. But you can't do it on your own. You have to do it with the Holy Spirit. And so, yeah. But like I said, God will not keep overextending himself just for you to do him dirty and turn back to your wicked ways to fill the void that only he can fill. He's not about to keep doing that. You don't want to keep doing that. I know if I was reaching out to somebody, actually, that woo, that happened this time last year. God is actually funny. I did not plan to say this. This is not funny to me right now, but I am laughing because it is a response. It is like my ultimate response is to laugh. This time last year, I kept overextending myself and just reaching out and reaching out and reaching out just for this person to keep just like putting up a wall, like access denied. And I was just like, okay, I quit. And so I quit. And so, like, why do you think, like, God won't do the same thing? Like, when he don't say he quit, he be like, oh, okay, you can have what you want. And those are not words of endearment. He's like, oh, you want to chase after sin? Oh, you can have what you want. Happy birthday. So, if you choose to keep up with your lies, that will determine the extent of your relationship with God. That's basically what I was trying to say. Anyways, so there are 2 books that I read in 2025 that I really do recommend that y'all read. They were so good to me. They blessed my soul. They blessed my spirit. The first one is called The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. Tozer spelled Tozer. The Pursuit of God was the book that really led me to question my walk with God and how I have been pursuing him, or if I have been pursuing him. I love the way that it explained the love of God, and I love the way that it talked about what pursuing God looked like back then and how it can look like now. I love how it gave you a practical measure of like what you are actually doing in your walk with God. So if that interests you, I really recommend this book. It sparks a hunger and a thirst to want to know God. And so I really love that. Second book, which I actually read today, not New Year's. I am uploading this anyways. It's 2025 right now, but when I am uploading this, it will be 2026. The second book that I am recommending is called Experiencing God's Love as Your Father by Mark DeJesus. This book was so good. When I tell you, like, it ate me up. I was so filled. I was getting my nails done and I was like, well, I can't really be on my phone while I'm getting my nails done. So I'm gonna just pick an audiobook. And so I was like, what have I been wanting to learn more about or hear more about? And of course, it's been the love of God. And so there's this book on Audible called Experiencing God's Love as Your Father. And I've had a hard time, accepting that. And so I was like, let's see what this book hitting on. Amazing. Peak. Absolute cinema. It really touches on like how we kind of compare God as a father to our earthly father. And if we don't come to terms with how our earthly father was and what they did and how they were, and really our earthly parents, like both of them, how they treated us, how they introduced us to God, how, all sorts of things. If we don't confront that, then we will begin to project that onto God the Father. And I think that's called either transference or countertransference. I want to say it's transference, and countertransference is when the person projects something onto you. I don't remember, child. I've been out of nursing school for a year now. I can finally say that. But yeah, and so it explains how sometimes we don't see God in the right perspective because of the way that we view our earthly father or our earthly mother. Anyways. And then it gives you like some practical tools on like healing that perspective. And yeah, so I really recommend those two books. I loved this episode. I love God because he really took over, and I did not think that this is where this podcast was heading. But once again, I said, God, this is your way. Have the floor. Take the ball. The court is yours. I quit. Just kidding. But yeah, Happy New Year. I really do pray that y'all will stick to the challenge of this year. We are pursuing God. When the windows and the doors of opportunity open, we will step and walk into them because God has shown us time and time again that he wants us, he loves us, and he wants relationship with us. And so let us respond in a rightful manner. Once again, you may be afflicted, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. Keep being jars of clay.